putting the link into the web browser and takes me to the board. So I control drag up and down. I can resize it. Otherwise, I just, with 2 fingers, I can just pan around the map. You can see, or another way to do it, just use the plus and minus keys to zoom in. Okay, now I'm control dragging to increase the size. I zoom in this way. I can click on existing items. Once it gets selected, I can move it around by click dragging. I can group things by dragging several and moving them as a group. And I can create new ones, new items, novel shape, novel colors. I can connect them. Oops, let me delete that. Connect them this thing. And when I click once, you see these little 4 blue dots. That means those are where I can make attachments. So I can drag out from a blue dot to a neighboring item, creates an arrow. I can color it however I wish. I'm suggesting for now that we color arrows according to the author. Here's a legend with the colors. Alicia's blue, Cecile magenta. So my arrows are green, for example. I've already embedded, if you zoom out here, by clicking on it, I can see that I've actually embedded a live link to the spreadsheet that Cecile created for us. I can even, it's live, so I can actually go in there, double click in a cell, copy, and then create a new item by cloning this one, for example. I option drag to duplicate it. I double click inside the text, paste, unitive containment. But it already exists, so I'm not going to create it here. Once you see that it exists, I think search is in here. Where is the search? Search. Find here, this Command F. I can look for unitive. I think it's already in there. Yeah. If I type in unitive, I see that there's an item there already with this text. If I click on that, it jumps to that item. So it's already there. I basically copied almost all of the terms from the Cecile's list into this. I've clustered them according to roughly by theme and by who I think was talking about them, or who can speak to them. This is, for example, these are the items that I recall are notions that I was talking about: measure, field, fiber bundles, differential geometry, etc. Of course, we are all able to edit any item, so you can just go ahead and edit other people's or edit any of these terms. So I suggested that in the email that we work in layers. What that means is, for example, if you click on some of these items, they've been created inside a layer. If I click on topology, for example, it says that you are editing, or I am editing in the Xin Wei layer. If I click open layers down here at the bottom of the window, it goes to the layers menu. There's a layer for each one of us. If I zoom out, I can see what's going on. So Alicia's, if we click on Alicia's layer, these are her items. I've only done them for 3 of us, Cecile, Alicia, and me. So includes arrows that were created in that layer. So if I do Xin Wei, there are a couple of regions where there are clusters of concepts that I've commented on. If I zoom in a little bit by control dragging, I can see, for example, here, I've made some associations. So I can also make links. If I click on this, click on link, I can then go to an item, fiber bundles. Let's say there's a notion that makes sense in differential geometry. So I can go from here to here. And whoops, let's go here, and then they stay connected if I move the target around or any of the bubbles around. This is colored, should be colored green, so I click on the arrow. I select, I think this is the green, yeah. So now they're connected. Now, we can also connect to other notions that are from other people's work, other people's comments. So if I wish, I can say, look, there's a connection between maybe differential geometry and let's say individuation. I just connect, and now these are connected as well. You can see that this will get messy. So I suggest we're very sparing about those, or we think about how we want to make associations. That's a second order set of order of relations that we might want to think about how to most effectively denote, okay, or suggest. What else? So Miro is extremely powerful. There are many, many formats and many templates and styles. I suggest we don't use any of them, or we try to minimize the use of those features because we're trying to make a scrapbook of ideas. I did put in a few notions which are just out in the ocean, which seemed appropriate for nothingness, the unmodeled, or Wu, the Chinese notion, the Taoist notion, which are just objects. We can connect to them as well. You can make compound objects. This is a compound out of a text and a Chinese character. Now, for the fun stuff. We can take any file, well, many files, not any file, from your own computer. And if I want, for example, I can embed a PDF by just simply dragging it into place. It'll take a little bit if the PDF is large. It's heavy, so I can take this item, I can, let's see, click on it and size it down. Notice there's a pretty wide range of scales. You can make these kind of archipelagos and, you know, take a portion of this and option drag to duplicate it. Now there's another archipelago with which we can zoom in and start working here as well if we really wanted to. Okay, so let me delete that. Let's go back out. Now this item is now in my Miro board, in our Miro board. It's a PDF. So in fact, if we size it up so you can see, click on it once, each object has its own contextual menu. In this case, I can page through it. The PDF is embedded in this Miro board. So if I want, as I've been beginning to do, we can maybe on the side, in fact, embed references if we like. This is an actual file. In this reference section, maybe I can take this whole area. Well, let's add some more items. Let's go back to the desktop and show you what other kinds of items I can add. Let's take a movie file. So this is a movie file, which if you double click, this is playing on my own computer.
Surface has risen by half.
It's fairly small. I can drag it from my local computer into Miro board. Yep, so here it is. It's big, so I'm going to size it down. Well, in fact, I can play it.
Are slowly warming.
So what's just happened is that it has been uploaded to Miro board. Miro keeps all its boards in the cloud. So this is no longer local, it's actually
in the past 30 years
in the cloud so that we can all access those items that are put into the Miro board. So it can be files from your local desktop, like a PDF or some even Word documents if you want. They don't come out very well, but there it is. Or it can be items from the web. So if I go to another window, let's take a look here. I found some videos on the web. This is from Synthesis. I find a video. Now I can take this video, take this URL and create a text object here, type, there it is. So the link is there and you can click on the link and go to the file outside. But another way to do it, which is what I've done already in these two items, the video for doing time lensing on video of dancers, or this one here, or the other one is using the camera input to gesturally modulate sound or light or whatever. So I can refer to them by links like this, or I can more easily I can just find it, then drag the item. Oh, come on, this should work. Let's go do this one. drag the link from the browser into my Miro board. You can see the plus sign up here. I let go, and it's going to embed the link and in this case a frame, the poster frame from the video. So let's size it down. So actually it's more meaningful. Okay, drag this up. Okay, so now I have two ways to refer to a video on the web. In this case by the URL, or in the second case by embedding the thumbnail for the actual video. In fact, I can play it in place. I just clicked on it, so hopefully I can play. Here's some sound. Here it is. Okay, so it's embedded inside as a working video. This is very good for notions where a static text doesn't do justice to the concept. Okay, let's pause that. Now, if I zoom out and select all these items here, I can create what's called a frame. The three-dot menu here with more items, create frame. Okay, now I've created a frame around these items. Let's call it references. Okay, if I click on this, I should drag it around. I should be able to move all of them at once. Okay, so this is one way to group particular items into regions in a more organized way. So this is references, and maybe I just, for illustration purposes, let me just take these items here and create a frame out of this. Three dots, create frame, and let's call this semiotics. Okay, just illustration. So now there are, I think, 2 or 3 frames. This is two. I just created 2 for you, and I can view these frames. So let's go back to the bottom right. You'll see this is the frames view. So I click on that. I can see these different frames I've created. So I can go between this kind of map layout for concepts, or I can organize them a little bit and turn them into what's more like a slideshow. So here's one frame, references, second frame, the more populated references happens to be the same name, so let's call this references 2. Let's rename this, so references 2. Okay, so first is the original references, second one is references 2, see the updated the title down here, and then the third frame is semiotics. So I can present this whole board frame by frame. Let's go back to the first. I'm just arrowing. So first, second, third frame. Okay. Escape to get back, or I say I'm control dragging to zoom out. Okay. So there are many ways to organize items in this map.